He came and he told me, I am asking you to be in a relationship with me that will lead to marriage.
So nikaangusha proposal alafu mimi nikapotea. I went to Zambura, a place where there is no network, you know. My name is Emmanuel Mogesha. I'm born again. I love the Lord. I'm a husband to one beautiful wife. She's right here with me. She's called Sharon. She will introduce herself. What else? I am a businessman. I started a business earlier this year called Dukundo Fashions, and that's what has kept me busy. Apart from that, I have been also engaged in various places of ministry work, both in church and another organization for alumni, Christian alumni who are in KU, Kenyatta University. So I've been busy there, amongst many other things. I think that's me. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sharon Mwagesha. I'm born again. I'm a wife to this handsome young man over here. Professionally, I'm a functional consultant. I work with a company that implements financial systems. Yeah.
We met in campus, Kenyatta University. We both did economics and finance. However, our first places of interactions were not in class, because I was a class ahead of her. Our first places of interaction were in the Christian Union. So before then, I was a leader in the Christian Union. And where I used to stay, there were two ladies, her and her best friend. These ladies used to wear so decently, and it captured my eye. I'm thinking, these two ladies ambao napitanga hapa nikiona every day, and they're not in the Christian Union. At some point I thought they were SDAs, by the way. At some point I thought. Later on, I think there's a day I saw them in the Christian Union. I said, okay, all right. They're in the Christian Union. All right. And I think over the time we had mutual friends. So those mutual friends, because of that network of mutual friends, we were then able to start to meet. But I think the first place where we met was in a birthday of a good friend of ours. It was on 14th of February.
Valentine's Day,
on a Valentine's Day, 2016. Yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
That's when we first met. But before then, nilikuwa nimemnoki. Kwa naona kipita hivi nasema, okay. Hallelujah. The Lord is good. Yes. That was the first place where we had a conversation. After that birthday, we were going back to, because we used to stay around the same places. So after the birthday, I walked them to their place, and then I think over that, then we started having conversations. And then it's a whole story of how we exchanged numbers, and then another whole story of how there's a whole story there about morning devotions. I used to go pick them, and we go for morning devotions early in the morning. Yes, I was serving the Lord, but in that moment also, nilikuwa nimeona kitu kizuri.
The first time I saw him, of course, was in the Christian Union, because he was a leader in the Christian Union. But that time I wasn't like actively serving, I was just attending the Christian Union. But the first time we had an interaction as he has said, it was during the friend's birthday party. Actually, the friend was his roommate, and he was my classmate. So during that birthday party, it's when we first talked. Yeah, we talked on our way back home. And, well, I wouldn't say he had captured my attention by then. Yeah, because I was just there. I was just living my life. I had known him from the Christian Union, but I wouldn't say I had been attracted by then. So that was our first interaction. Then we actually didn't exchange contacts that day. We exchanged contacts later on at a time when I had given now my friend, who was his roommate, some movie to watch. Then when he finished, he was like, when you finish watching this movie, just give it to this girl. Akampea namba yangu that time. So that's how he got my contact. So when he...
Let me cut you short up, okay, dog. But I was super excited because then, when you're in the Christian Union and you're a leader there, there are things that you are not supposed to associate yourself with. Eti kupenda msichana, you know, such like things. Eh?
Really?
So, and I also didn't want to look that I'm so forward, you know, may bring a wrong picture. So that aspect that I'm not the one who looked for that number, but things worked out.
Yes,
because of our movie, I got that number.
Yes,
I was
actually,
excited.
the movie was War Room. That time it was War Room.
Yeah.
So we normally make this joke because now later on we had those morning devotions, and he will come and pick us up from our apartment where we used to stay and take us, because where we were praying was like a distance from where we were staying. So he would come and pick us, the ladies, we go. So we normally say our relationship was birthed from a place of prayer, because at first the contacts were exchanged over the War Room movie, and then now the attraction, as I said earlier on, the attraction came with time now as we were going for the prayers. And you know, those when you finish and you're holding hands, and when I'm holding his hand, I'm like, what? What's happening? So yeah, that's how, for me, the attraction came with time.
By that time, I knew very well, even before we met, I had a crush on her, you know? Even before that first conversation on 14th of February, because I used to see her, na nitasimama tu nimwangalie tu akipita, nasema, the Lord, you have created people, my friend. You know? So, at that particular time, when we started having those conversations, and I had the opportunity now of, I had a contact, we could talk frequently, and then we had morning devotions. I used to go pick them so that we could go pray and then return them. Because of that frequent communication, I needed now to be so clear with myself. What is it that I want? Because I didn't want to, in campus used to say zero grazing, where you have shown interest by how you're acting, you know, how you're behaving towards a particular lady, but you're not committing. So that this particular person is just there, you know, you're behaving like you're in a relationship, but you have not verbally communicated anything. And also, I also didn't want to get deep into this relationship that was developing without being sure where are we heading. So I didn't take that long, because at that particular moment I started praying and also asking my friends, how do you think about this particular lady? Mimi namfeel mase. Kuna vile namfeelingi mbaya sana. And it came to a point where I had inner peace. I think for me that was God speaking to me, like inner peace, a deep conviction that this lady is the one. So within that period between February until around March, those 2 months, we had several interactions, and within those interactions, I then got to know her. We spoke a lot, got to know her perspectives about life. Her love for God stood out for me, like it really stood out for me, because then, for me, I knew very well my life completely, my life is intertwined with ministry, it's intertwined with God. Whether I'm in ministry or I'm in corporate, wherever I'm going to be, my perspectives about life are shaped by scripture, basically. So when I found that she had the same perspective, And then also when I found that she has been brought up with, she has been brought up from a very godly family, that for me was like a tick, you know, because then apart now from the aspect that I had a crush on her, and then we were friends at that particular moment, on top of that, then we have same perspectives about life. That for me was it. So what I did, I went home. I traveled all the way to Malindi from Nairobi. I went and talked to my father and told him, I have seen a lady, I'm really interested in her, and I want your blessing even before, this is even before I told her anything. I want your blessing, because I was so serious about it. That is just to, for me, that was like to put weight on it, you know. When you have someone in authority speak over such a huge issue, and I also knew that his voice is very important. So I went, and surprisingly, because I was not expecting that response, surprisingly, he told me, if you're at peace with it, then I'm okay. Then he prayed for me. And I left Malindi saying, this is the day. I remember coming back to Nairobi. That was the night we spoke until around 3 a.m., you know, just chatting, just chatting. It was just nice. And then I came on 14th of May. 14th of May, I was planning to go to Samburu for missionary work for like 4 months. So on 14th of May, I proposed to her. 14th of May 2016, I proposed to her. And then I think it was on 21st. No, it was even before my, it was before my
Your
birthday. So I think it should be around 15th or 16th there. I left. So in Kangusha proposal, last minute kapotea. I went to Zambura, a place where there is no network, you know. And I left her there to think about it and to pray and also consult. But also I told her, I remember I also told her, once you have made your decision, I also want you to consider talking to someone in authority before you come to respond to me. Because for me, I from the very start, I didn't want us to start a relationship where we are guessing. Let's put away it. And I knew if she had to go to someone of authority and tell that particular person, there's a young person who has proposed to me and he wants us to relate and look forward into marriage, that puts a lot of weight. And also, that meant in her consideration of my proposal, she really needed to really think about it.
And so he came and he told me, we've known each other for a short while. It had actually been around 4 or 5 months since we had started interacting actively. And by that time, I had realized I liked him. The attraction was there. It was mutual. So he came and he told me, I am asking you to be in a relationship with me that will lead to marriage. So that word, that will lead to marriage, made me think, oh, this is serious. You know, it's not those ones for, you're in campus, you're still young, you're still finding your way through life and finding what you want for life. So at first I felt it was quite serious because this person means we are not, it's not for jokes. It's not trial and error. We are in this to the very end. So I remember I was like, okay, I have heard you. So give me time to pray about it, think about it, and I will give you an answer. And while you're waiting, don't keep pushing me, you know. Okay, I had come from a place where, you know how these relationship things are, and heartbreak or something didn't work out, and so you're like, you just need time to heal and get to trust people again. And so he came at that time where I wasn't really ready to commit fully to a man, to a relationship, especially that is very serious leading to marriage. So I told him, it's okay, I know you love me, you've told me you love me. So in this time, until I give you an answer, don't keep behaving as if we are in a relationship already, because I haven't said yes. So I told him, we just continue behaving normally, like friends, the way we've been.
I tell you, she was serious.
Yeah, we are just friends. So don't keep, behaving as if I'm your girlfriend already until I say yes. So I took my time, I prayed about it, and my mom and I are really close. So I remember one of the times when I went home, I just talked to my mom. I actually didn't know how to tell her, but somehow she created that platform because we were very close, so she would share her stories when she was in campus, nini. So one time it was just a perfect opportunity. And I was like, hey, by the way, there's this guy who is quite serious. He told me, he asked me how to be in a relationship with him that will lead to marriage. And honestly, I feel like I'm pretty young. I'm not so sure if I want to commit to this. I don't know what to do. So she was like, okay, that's fine. Like she actually didn't judge me or tell me, you're too young, you're not supposed to be in these things. But she told me, I know you're of age, because I think at that time I was in my early 20s. You're of age, and either way, this was bound to happen. So you pray about it. I'm with you on this. Whatever the Lord leads you to do, just do it. So she gave me her blessing. So the rest of it was now on my part to get ready to say yes to this relationship that will lead to marriage. It was quite a big deal for me. So I remember I took about 6 months. I took about 6 months. I got Kobaya by then, and it wasn't at that I didn't like him or anything. I just needed time to sort out issues within myself and just get to that place of being certain that this is what I want for life. And clearly, I have heard from the Lord that our purposes are intertwined, and we can actually go ahead with this relationship as we trust him to keep making things clear with time. So yeah, after about 6 months, actually on the 7th of November, 2016, I said yes to this relationship that will lead to marriage. And so our dating journey started from then on. Yeah.
I also think one of the reasons that she took that long is the aspect that I gave some serious conditions of her to say yes. She needed to be very sure that by the time she's saying yes, that she is looking towards the possibilities of us getting married. She needed to be at peace with her thought that when we are getting into a relationship, it's not a trial and error. We are trying to look at, are we compatible or not? Will this thing work? No, we are here now. We are focusing on building ourselves towards marriage, and I think she took her time, and by the time she got in, she was ready. She was okay. Yeah, and we had a good time.
Yes.
From then all the way until we got married.
Yeah.
Well, even before we go to the wedding day, I think those were 4 years between 2016, because we got married in 2020. Those were solid 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Imagine of dating. And within that particular period, I think our friendship really solidified. A lot. Because we used to speak, we used to talk every day. And then, that was also a transitional period for both of us. We left campus, we were both looking for jobs, the frustrations of looking for jobs. I also tried a business at some point, it didn't work. So all those frustrations, and I think, we were kind of in our lowest moments within those 4 years, and our friendship really grew because we stuck by each other within those 4 years in our low moments. I think those 4 years were our lowest moments. And I think also we had our greatest challenges during those periods. And then on 2019, 8th of November, Nicolette her ring to propose. Now, this basically for it was more of like a I remember when I knelt down, I told her, will you still marry me?
Yes.
Because that's the word I used. Because then I didn't want to invalidate what I did on 14th of May, all right? Because I was so serious. When I told her on 14th of May, I asked her to go think about us getting into a relationship that leads to marriage. For me, that was very serious. So on 8th of November 2019, that was a confirmation, basically.
Yeah.
After all we have been through from 2016 to 2019, I think we have known each other. Do you think we can still continue in this journey?
Yeah. So the wedding day, it happened on 7th of November 2020. Actually, the wedding was supposed to be in August. That's how we had set it earlier. But 2020 is that year. COVID happened and everything went haywire, and all the plans you had started making were, you know, confused and all that. I remember when COVID hit in March, we hadn't even done our Aurora show yet. So we kind of had to bring to a halt the plans because when lockdown happened, we were both at home. I had gone back home. That time my employer had allowed us to work from home, so me actually went home kabisa to my parents. He had also gone home at that time. Actually, because of COVID, he had lost his job. So a lot of things had gone haywire kabisa. So we had to halt the plans and we couldn't continue, and it was those ones for unforeseeable time. So we had even set the date, but we had to reschedule for the rush and also for the wedding, and we didn't know to when. So I remember the process of waiting was quite gruesome because a lot of plans had been confused, you know, there's no money and there's no income as it were before. I was still at work, but we had a pay cut. He was not at work, so now we were even wondering, now what do you do with this wedding budget? We had started planning way earlier. So when March happened, we were confused for a moment. But thank God, with time, the lockdown was lifted, and so we started rescheduling. We actually started rescheduling the wedding in August. Now, when we were supposed to have the wedding in August, we started rescheduling then. So we now set it for 7th November. And by God's grace, it came. It was successful. God provided everything we needed, even our worries of where will we get this money for the budget. Yani God just raised people. They supported us. And we had over and above and beyond even what we had expected. And the wedding was really beautiful. It was a sunny day. It was a happy day. It was a very beautiful day. I think it was my best day in 2020, or my best day so far. To this day, people keep telling me, hey, you were grinning the whole time. And it's true, I was grinning during that wedding. I remember when we were talking with my mom and I was like, Utalia. Okay, I'm very emotional. So I knew I could start thinking about, okay, the thing that could make me cry personally was thinking of how God had taken us from a place of the unknown to now we have this beautiful day happening, you know, when it was around June, July, August, we didn't know how this wedding was going to be, honestly. We had no idea. We actually were thinking, now do we reschedule to next year? Or when do we wait? When are things going to stabilize for us to continue with the wedding? So I think for me, the thing that stood out the most was the fact that God had made it so possible that this day was so beautiful beyond what I could have imagined. I couldn't thank God enough for seeing just a beautiful day. People were happy and everything had been taken care of. There was no hassle with any service provider. We had paid all the service providers, like there was no debt at all, there was nothing. So for me, what stood out for me was the fact that God had really honored us by providing everything we needed, and we were having this beautiful day we had anticipated, despite the fact that we had had such a rough moment months before that. That really stood out for me.
Just to add on what she has shared with us, yeah. You know, the outstanding thing for our wedding was that it was a miraculous wedding,
yeah,
in all sense, because we had come from the place where we by the time I was losing a job, you know, 001 patient 001 was announced by the president. By that time, we had already made our first visit.
Yes.
We had already made our first visit. Now, once you have made your first visit to the in-laws, you cannot turn back.
Yeah.
Ikianza imeanza. You have to go all the way, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, at that particular moment, both of us have jobs, so things are going to work out. There's a way you unaka plan, and then all of a sudden, job inaisha. and then huku kunachopa kwa pay cut. So what you're having already is not even able to run you as a family, you know, and within also that particular period, the savings that we had, by that time, because zimeisha, after umefanya hizo ma visits na nini zimeisha. So to see God come through, even with the dowry, and also see God come through with the wedding, see him come through, it was just amazing. It was just a miracle answered. Miracle answered. And I think for me, I will just encourage anyone to focus on God. Manze, he comes through. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
One of the best things in marriage is the companionship. For me, that is, it's unmatched. You know, it's not the same. I remember I kept telling my mom, nimechoka kukaa peke yangu, because I had stayed for, I think, around 2 years when I was working in Thika. I had stayed for around 2 years. I know it's not a long time, but as in, because we had been in a relationship, you know, there's someone you should be staying with. So it had gotten to that time when I felt now it was time for me to be with him, like we stay together. And for us, it's not those ones for come, we stay, we had to go the right way. And so companionship for me has been the best thing about marriage. Just knowing you have someone who you can talk to at the end of the day, in the morning, when you have frustrations, when you have happy moments, you know, you're doing life together. That's the best thing ever.
Personally, I think since when I left campus, this particular 1 year we've been we've been married together, I think I've achieved quite a lot in terms of my personal development. And I think it's also because then you have someone else. And also for a man, it keeps you to, you cannot stay there anymore. You have to think outside the box. What is it I can do to improve myself every day? Yes. I love you so much. You're my number one. I thank God that he gave me you. You fit so perfectly in my life. There are a lot of things I could not do without you. You have helped me to be more attentive to details. You have helped me to be more organized. You have helped me in many ways. You have also helped me to chase after God, and that's beautiful. And I love you. I love how you love the Lord, how you're so focused, and obviously extremely beautiful and very intelligent.
Thank you.
If we were to go back to 2016, I will still choose you.
Oh.
1,000 times. No, 1,000,000 times. Let's remove that infinity. Yes. I love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. My husband, I love you very much. I thank God for you. One of the things I really like about you is that you're very supportive. You're very supportive, and you help me, you know, exploit all my potentials. In those times when I'm feeling, hey, this one I can't hack, you're like, no, you can do it, just do it. And I really love that. You keep pushing me to exploit that full potential about myself. Also, you're very kind and very loving and very charming. Thank you so much for loving me genuinely and loving me through the standard of Christ, who is as he has commanded in his word. And it always inspires me to keep also doing my part very well and being submissive and loving you too. And so I just want you to know that I love you very much. And as long as God gives us life, I will keep honoring you and loving you.